Hey, what is going on everybody, and welcome to Fantasia. For today, we're going to be jumping into another session of Epic 7 out today. Got some more balance adjustment showcases for you guys. This time around, we're going to be taking a look at the highly requested Little Queen Charlotte and all of her glory here. Currently have her max imprinted from getting Charlotte copies over the years, and her skills are plus 15. But before we talk about her kit, let's go ahead and show you guys the builds so you can better understand why I have her on what she's on here, right? So currently I'm running her on Benimaru's Tachi for the immunity and the ability to get an attack buff, right, without having additional support on the team. I'm also running her on her EE. Of course, you gotta grab it. It's free stats, right? Not a max roll, unfortunately. 2% off of max stats here. Probably could reach 4100 attack there. But she does have 10% additional damage reduction for the team, which is huge. We'll talk about that once we get to her actual kit. And so I'm currently rocking her on Destruction and Pursuit Set. Pursuit Set, by the way, allows you to deal 20% additional damage. And it is really great because Little Queen Charlotte's splash damage is actually kind of crazy. Destruction, of course, is the most stat efficient set for damage dealers here, so we're trying to get as much crit damage, as much attack as possible. I don't really recommend going less than 4,000 attack unless you're not going for like a splash damage build, but with Pursuit Set here, we're looking pretty solid. The focus for all of her stats here, basically just attack, crit damage, health, defense, and some speed. As you can see with the substats here, kind of difficult to farm for because you're kind of conditioned to go for crit rate on a lot of units, but Little Queen Charlotte no longer needs any crit rate. That's why they changed her imprint concentration as well. So now that we kind of get an idea of what the gear is, let's go ahead and see why we did that here with her skills, right? On her skill 1, you can see that a successful attack always results in a critical hit, and the same thing is applied for her skill 3, right? Any successful attack is always going to result in a critical hit, which means you do not need any crit rate. This makes her so much easier to build. You'll see that my Little Queen Charlotte's almost 200 speed, whereas before she was around 140 with less bulk and less damage, which is kind of crazy. She was an incredibly stat-hungry unit, but now so much better. With her skill 3, when she defeats somebody, there's extinction, and additionally, you do additional damage proportional to the caster's attack to all enemies except for the target. So, you're mostly going to be nuking things like dark units, for example. Penetrates the target's defense by 50% in general, and when the target is dark, you increase the damage that is dealt. Now, the other cool thing is they switched her soul burn as well. Instead of decreasing the cooldowns of her skill 3 so you can spam it more often, now you just consume 10 souls to increase your hit chance by 100%, so you will never miss, which means you'll guarantee that you get the crit, which means you also guarantee the splash damage. I think this is an incredibly powerful soul burn, and I really would like to see more soul burns like this rather than just blatantly ignore resistance and all that good stuff, right, that we've come to know and love on so many units out there. But for DPSs, this is kind of cool, not just increasing damage dealt or anything, but this just gives you more consistency. And in a meta where there's evasion and so much RNG everywhere with dual attacks and all that good stuff, having a little bit of consistency is so welcome, right? Her skill 2, by the way, is a passive ability. It does make her immune to all debuffs that prevent movement, which is amazing. No sleeps, no stuns, no fears, which means RNL can't really control Little Queen Charlotte. On top of that, with her EE, she now mitigates 30% of the damage that you receive. So if you would normally take 10k damage, it's 7k now. And that's not even factoring in damage sharing. So if you have some unit like Estelle, for example, taking that 7k damage and sharing 40% of it to Estelle herself, you're only taking like 4,000 something damage. It's incredibly powerful, this passive ability. Keeps your team alive for much longer, and it means you don't have to build as much bulk on her. Also, after every attack suffered by any ally, you'll increase your combat readiness by 10%, which means with 200 something speed, it only takes a couple of hits or even a single AoE from something like RNL or Arbiter Vildred to just push you up immediately so you can take a turn. But now that we have a better idea of what she does and what she looks like, let's go ahead and test her out in Arena to see what she can do. Let's go ahead and jump into our first match here against one of the most aggressive defense teams I've seen in Arena in a while, right? We have Rinnock, we have RNL, and Arbiter Vildred just kind of throwing out damage, along with a Setsuka. That's going to be kind of deceiving because the Setsuka here is just going to kind of sit around, and she's not really going to do anything except provide this evasion to the team on my opponent's side, which is going to make them incredibly difficult to deal with. Thankfully, though, Little Queen Charlotte does have the ability to soul burn to get that 100% hit chance, so let's see if we can utilize that to our advantage, right? We have Bossarunka and Estelle here kind of protecting the team. We have the damage share, Little Queen Charlotte's whole damage mitigation, and I did bring along Maid Chloe, just because I don't want this fixed damage to also just obliterate us here. But look at the Estelle, she's healing up a little bit with some counters and stuff, and I didn't bring in any unit to soul burn, right? The reason being, once we take enough damage from the opponent here, my Estelle will be able to counterattack, and she'll be able to get this nice barrier, which, one, is going to help protect this entire team, but two, it's going to give us 10 souls, which is going to be absolutely amazing for dealing with my opponents here. So you see, Benimaru's Tachi is proccing, right? And so because we can't get feared from units like RNL, so let's go ahead and soul burn our skill 3. This has extinction in the kill, right? So I'm going to go into the Arbiter Vildred. We should be dealing extra damage. We should penetrate defense as well. It's pretty much a guaranteed kill, especially because we have a 100% hit chance when we soul burn with this. So let's go in onto the Arbiter Vildred and see what happens. How much damage are we going to do with the Pursuit set? Oh my god, guys. 50k damage. Oh my... That is incredible, finishing off pretty much everyone on the opponent's side. Of course, Setsuka being more tanky, we do have to deal with her, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and just do a little bit of fail-safing with our Maid Chloe, making sure we don't immediately die to our opponents here. Let's go ahead and soul burn the Estelle. We did get lucky and hit the Setsuka with our defense break on our skill 3 with the Bossarunka, makes her a lot easier to deal with. She's also not countering on that miss, which is great. Finally hit that 30% there. But yeah, even when blinded, Little Queen Charlotte has so much attack. I think, yes, we are able to finish her off. That was an incredible showcase. I think like the perfect scenario, right? With RNL and RB on the other side, and the Setsuka for the evasion. For our next test, let's go ahead and use Little Queen Charlotte in a bit more of a aggressive team, right? We have RNL coming in here with Tactical Archetype Coley giving us that speed imprint, and I'm hoping we outspeed the opponent's RNL. I'm not sure how fast she's gonna be, but the main goal here is gonna be to take out whoever the front unit is that's doing all the damage sharing shenanigans, and then I'm hoping that Little Queen Charlotte can then come in and kind of bonk this free Rin. I want to see how much splash damage we do against the free Rin, if we can even finish her off here, to kind of justify running the Pursuit set, right? So the Shepherd of the Dark DN is going to be in the front line here, which is fine by me. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of a skill 2 into her. She shouldn't have effect resistance because she no longer has her buffs and all that stuff. So there we go, beautiful damage, very nice. And let me go for a little skill 3, see if we can kind of strip our opponent's immunity here, maybe inflict some fear onto the Lady of the Scales. Otherwise, we're about to eat a ton of damage. Oh, we got lucky and hit the, we did hit the RNL there, but we're going to be taking the brunt of a Freerin skill 3 now. Not the greatest thing ever, but it's okay. This Freerin does have about 8,000 HP. This will push up the Little Queen Charlotte by quite a bit. Look at that, guys. So there's no reason for me to really soul burn this because it doesn't increase damage, only the hit chance, and we have a 100% hit chance anyway. Let's go ahead and just bonk this Lady of the Scales and see if we actually finish off the Freerin there. Almost finished off the Freerin, guys. About 7,700 damage, so we're a little bit short there. It's okay, Hikari can come in and kind of finish things off with her fixed damage, but that is good to note that we won't finish off Freerins with a skill 3 just out the gate. Moving on into our next battle over here, we have another evasion-based team, right? Setsuko with RNL, but there is going to be a Perfumer Biblis and a Notos on the other side. So what I'm going to do is bring in a team that's going to be immune to this RNL skill 3. No fear is going to be inflicted on us. The boss Arunka might get feared, but Fern has 100% evasion. Salome has Sweet Miracle to cleanse herself of the fear, and Little Queen Charlotte is going to be immune in general, right? So we should be okay by taking the hit of this RNL here, and our Salome is going to be able to come in and do quite a bit as well, right? Now the boss Arunka, unfortunately, defense broken there. Normally we take a lot more damage, but the 30% damage reduction from the LQC definitely helps out quite a bit. The boss Arunka is actually still alive, which is kind of crazy. Alright, let us go for the Little Queen Charlotte now. I think the best thing to do is to just hit the Notos here to try to deal as much damage as we can. I don't know if we can actually finish him off in one hit though. Oh, nope, not quite. And there is going to be the cleanse and the heal. That is very, very sad, but I think what we can do here is try to hit the Notos this way. And I could actually come in here with, oh no, we did miss on that. Yikes, that sucks. Okay, I do actually want to copy the Little Queen Charlotte to see if we can finish off the Notos. So let's go for it. If we can't, I guess we just lose here. But I have hope in my Little Queen Charlotte. Unfortunately, there's 4 stacks of Lingering Fragrance now on the Notos here. Let's go for a little Soul Burn. We still have the Benimaru's Tachi proccin. Come on, same amount of damage as before. There we go. Get that extinction, get that fixed damage, guys. And look at what we achieved. Pretty good stuff. So yeah, Little Queen Charlotte is great against dark units. Unfortunately, Notos is light, so even though we'd love to inflict extinction on him, it just isn't really possible there. And we just have to work with what we have. But yeah, this is still okay, I'd say. We do have the ability to kind of, thanks to Fern actually giving up her life from all the reflect damage, we managed to finish off the Setsuka there. Beautiful stuff. And now let's go ahead and dual attack with our Little Queen Charlotte. And there you have it. Not too shabby, right? 2 skill 3s to kill Notos. Kind of not what you really want, but again, her specialty is going to be finishing off dark units, not necessarily fighting light units. I think we've done enough of hiding behind Boss Arunka for these showcases here, so what I'm going to do is put another knight in the front lines, Christy, who's able to provide her effect res stat to the unit in the back line here, which means Little Queen Charlotte is going to have 300 resistance, yeah? And we paired with the Infinite Horizon Acades, as long as we don't get blocked by the Ludwig here in terms of debuffs, we can push up our Little Queen Charlotte to kind of take turns and hopefully deal with the 3 dark units that are on my opponent's side right there. Additionally, we're going to bring in Estelle because without Boss Arunka, my units here, my light units, will be targeted by the Zeo and the RNL, so I want to make sure that we have some form of mitigation prepared for these dark units, right? Now, I don't think I'm going to bonk the Ludwig directly. I think we're going to try to deal some splash damage and stuff to him instead. I think I want to take out the Bystander Hua Young. I think that's the key unit to take out in this case. Thankfully, it looks like she's base speed here, which is pretty decent. And it looks like the Little Queen Charlotte is doing her job at being resistant. Please, I didn't expect the Estelle counter to actually proc the Hua Young here. Oh! Okay, we're gonna lose our, we're actually gonna lose our Infinite Horizon Acades, which kinda sucks, but that's okay. We will jump up in combat readiness anyway, though, with our Little Queen Charlotte, which is wonderful. We can take out the Bystander Hua Young, but now I'm a little bit concerned about this Ludwig, because he's gonna be kinda scary. Yeah, we're gonna get a little barrier, which is kinda cool, but let's see what we can do. We don't need a soul burn, because there's no evasion unless we hit the RNL. Let's go for the Bystander Hua Young. See how much fixed damage we do to the rest of the team here. Oh, that's nice damage. Being able to one-shot there. Ludwig, unfortunately, coming in with the attack. Oh, stunning the Estelle. Wow, Estelle actually took all the damage there. We are going to be reviving from all the damage we took. But thankfully, LQC saving the team. She still mitigates all that other damage as well from the Ludwig, right? So there we go. We get to take a turn. With the attack buff, we're able to finish off the RNL even on a miss. But yeah, this is why I think pairing Little Queen Charlotte with a damage sharing unit is essential for keeping your slower teams alive. This is going to be a bit of a risky team here, but instead of bringing in Estelle, you can bring in a unit like Arwell if all you need is mitigation for your team and you don't necessarily need the damage. I think it's a good trade-off here because we are bringing another damage dealer in the form of Hakati, who should be able to provide extinction stuff, right, for all these units here, mostly to stop the immortality from the Abigail, but we'll see. I don't know who's going to be in the backline here because we are in Emperor right now, so the positions of these defense teams are shuffled. Arbiter Vildred is in the back line, but that's okay. If you look at the combat readiness bar, right, Acades is going to jump up, and we also see Little Queen Charlotte jumping up along with the Arwell. Arwell also gets to push up in combat readiness too, and so look at this, guys. We do get to take a turn, and because we do have Hakati, I think we should still be able to finish off this Arbiter Vildred with a single bonk here. Right, it is going to miss, but that is okay, because we deal so much damage, guys. Look at that. It didn't even matter. So most RBs are below 10k health, and so Little Queen Charlotte should be able to finish him off pretty easily. There was some damage sharing going on with the Abigail though, so we gotta be careful about that. Let's go for the push up on the Hakati here, and we should be able to skill 3 and finish off the RNL. Let's just go for it, see what we can do. We do penetrate defense, and so even if we miss, we're still dealing tons of damage. Yeah, there you go, 14k damage. That's after we slice through the barrier there. So pretty good. And so now it's really just an Abigail that we have to deal with, and that's not too bad, along with an ML Politis, right? They're going after the Infinite Horizon Acades, which is pretty funny. All right, let's go for a skill 3. Let's finish off the Abigail. She does seem like the other main damage dealer here, right, between the two. Nice little stun there. Let's go ahead and cleanse the speed down and the curse on the Little Queen Charlotte. There we go, speed up and a crit chance buff. That is not the buff that you really want to see, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and just a little chop here against the Abigail. And other thing to note is that if you have Benimaru's Tachi, you will not get an attack buff if you have a debuff, which is a little unfortunate because debuffs are so plentiful out there. Fear is the one thing you don't have to really worry about, along with stuns and sleep with Little Queen Charlotte, but any debuff, a speed down, a curse as you saw earlier, an attack down, all those things prevent you from doing what you want to do, which is unfortunate. So let's go ahead and push up the Hakati here, see if she can deal some damage with her skill 1, because the Little Queen Charlotte's going to be coming in soon anyway. If we don't finish off the ML Politis here, okay, there we go. We would have had another chance to use the Little Queen Charlotte. But yeah, overall, guys, I think she's doing pretty good so far. Let's continue her testing. Okay guys, let's go up against this really strange team I just stumbled across in Emperor, and this is a full, like, debuff team, right? Zio is acting as an opener here, Elvira can potentially be pushing herself up, and you guys know the plethora of debuffs she carries along with the damage, RNL being a very strong debuffer too, and Swift Flagbear's Sigrid, that's her entire identity, right? Just fearing the opponent, target debuffs, dual attacks, and all that stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and test this out. We do not have any damage sharing. We only have Little Queen Charlotte's damage mitigation, but I do have Disciplinary Prefect Arya to help bolster the resistance of my Boss Arunca, and I also have Infinite Horizon Acades to help cleanse just in case we need it. But I think we should be okay for the most part. Boss Arunca sitting here at around 200 resistance, yeah? So we should be good. And you can see Zio doesn't deal as much damage as he normally does too because of Little Queen Charlotte's passive. So that's really nice. Nice counters from the Boss Arunca so far. Very cool. And Infinite Horizon Acades actually jumps up and cuts my opponent, which is awesome. Hopefully we survive here. Very cool, very cool. And so Acades gets to jump up. Look at this. I actually don't need to push up Little Queen Charlotte because she's already taken a turn. Boss Arunca also just right there, hot on her heels. So I'm actually going to push up the Disciplinary Prefect Arya to kind of allow her to take a turn before my opponent does. And now let's come in with a skill 3. Now here's the thing, we always guarantee crits, right, on a successful hit. And so I am gonna just attack this Elvira here. I don't need to soul burn, actually, so let's not do that. We're gonna attack the Elvira. Elvira has this engulf, which gives her 100% critical hit resistance, but because we always hit on a successful hit, we always crit, I mean, this should just crit her and finish her off, like no problem at all. Let's just go for it. So if you're having trouble dealing with Elvira, this is one of the ways you can kind of finish her off. Look at that, guys. Just everybody evaporated. Discipline Prefect Arya is not even getting a chance to take a turn. Because look at that. Little Queen Charlotte just comes in and just cleans up everybody. That was super nice. Now let's go ahead and dive in against this more tanky, resilient team. We have Genesis Roz appearing for the first time in quite a while. Harsetti, Arbiter Vildred, and Setsuka. So a bunch of evasion going on too. Guys, the evasion meta is making Little Queen Charlotte look like a highly desirable unit to build because, again, the guarantee that you're going to hit by increasing your hit chance and the ability to always crit upon a successful hit means that she is one of the few units here that can really guarantee one-shots against a lot of these more, you know, evasive units, right? And so we see here with the Aram, we do start with a 3-turn immunity, and so we're never going to get debuffed by the Harsetti, which guarantees our Benimaru's Tachi's attack buff. Arbiter Vildred is going to be kind of annoying, so I think I'm just going to get rid of him here. A little bit of extinction action will be kind of nice. So we'll go for this, skill 3. Boom, he's gonna go down, easy peasy. Look at all that splash damage on the other side. Let's go for a hit onto Setsuka. I know this is probably not the best idea here, but we have 38,000 HP, might as well just deal a little bit of injury to the opponent, right? He's gonna counter, and that's fine. Not as much healing as I did damage. And what I can do right now is I could just go and push up my... Ooh, we only get 3 souls. Yikes. I don't think Little Queen Charlotte is gonna have a soul burn ready, but we're gonna go for it anyway. Why not? Because what I could do is... Oh no, there we go. Oh, we do have enough souls. Okay, that's fantastic. Alright, let's go for the skill 3 then onto Setsuka. This guarantees the hit, although we could also try to extinct the Genesis Roz. We do deal extra damage with exploiting weak points, and we do have the Vigor buff. So perhaps we go for the... Nah, we don't go for Genesis Roz. We go for the Setsuka here. Let's just do it. Because Genesis Roz can't really deal any damage to us. We're mitigating the damage by 30%, right? From the Little Queen Charlotte. But on top of that, we have Empyrean Ilanov with Indomitable for the team. And we have Perfume Bibulus' Lingering Fragrance as well. So there's no way that he's going to defeat my entire team here. Let's go for a skill 3. Why not? Try to get rid of the Harsetti while we still can, and that will leave just the Genesis Roz for us to deal with afterwards, which shouldn't be an issue. Ooh, she 15% of one of the Venoms there, so we're not able to do anything with that. It's okay. We do get collapsed on our Little Queen Charlotte, but that's fine, because we didn't get sealed, right? So we still have that damage reduction there, and look at that, basically taking like 0 damage, which is absolutely insane. And because of AoE attacks, look at this, Little Queen Charlotte able to jump up in combat readiness so easily, right? Unfortunately, her immunity is tied to her skill 1, which makes it kind of iffy, right? You don't really get the immunity after your skill 3, which means you're susceptible to debuffs after your initial skill 3, but should be able to come in here and finish off the Genesis Roz. He will revive, but that is a-okay because you can actually trigger dual attacks from the highest attack allies with things like Perfume Bibulus or Bossarunka Soulburns, and with it they carry a defense break, which is really nice. Look at that. For dealing tons of damage, this is also a way that you can get immunity on your Little Queen Charlotte, for example. Let's say you skill 3 and bonk your opponent, and you have a unit that can dual attack with the highest attack unit on your team. You can soul burn that, or if it's a Salome, for example, you automatically attack with the highest attack ally. Under those cases, you can dual attack with the Little Queen Charlotte and then give her the immunity, which protects her until her next turn, which is absolutely amazing because, you know, after a couple of turns, you just do this again. And she does really good damage, despite not attacking dark units like half the time, right? That was pretty decent damage against a Genesis Roz. So we've seen Little Queen Charlotte in the slower team comps where tanking our opponents and taking care of their evasion units, but what if you used her in a speedier team? You can definitely do that. Now my Little Queen Charlotte's build is still the same as before, about 190 something speed. You can build Little Queen Charlotte to be much faster now as well if you give up some of the bulk that I put on her. You can give up bulk for a ton of speed. You can build her at 250, 260, 270 speed if you really wanted. Make her just absolutely insane with damage, and she can definitely be very, very strong. Now, what I'm doing in this case is using Faithless Lidica, who you guys saw in the previous showcase, against the Zeo. I did bring a couple of speed imprints here to try to outspeed the Seafan and Politis, because there's no bridge unit after the Zeo, and I'm gonna try to use this Faithless Lidica to control this Notos there. Laceration, also fantastic, by the way. I am going to, do I really want to soul burn this? I don't think so. I think the best thing to do right here is to just go for it, because I kind of want the Little Queen Charlotte to nuke the Arbiter Vildred as soon as possible. So, do we get 15%? We do not, which is cool. Very nice. Tactical Archetype Coley gets to come in here, and I don't know if I really want to skill 3 with the Arbiter Vildred on the other side. So, I'm just going to go for the hit on Notos for right now. Deal some damage to him, and look at that. Look at the laceration just putting injury on him. It's absolutely insane. So I think what I'll do with the Silk is I will go for a skill 3. Let's push back the ML Politis so she doesn't take a turn. Right, there we go. Pushing her back. She's silenced as well. Now we can come in with the Little Queen Charlotte. And this, if this doesn't finish off my opponents, the laceration that I put with the Faceless Lidica, the splash damage is going to put so much injury. Look, maxed out injury onto everyone on the opponent's side. That is absolutely insane. There we go. Finish off the Notos there too. I thought he was going to be on Holy Sacrifice, but I guess he isn't. We'll finish off the Zeo, because he's the only other damage dealer here. Silk, if she has a buff, you can dual attack with the ally with the highest attack here. So there goes the Little Queen Charlotte, and now we can just try to finish off this ML Politis. And there you guys have it. You can use Little Queen Charlotte in an aggressive team as well. I know we weren't like full-on cleaving with this, but a single bonk can take out like the entire team, or leave them in a position where you're just going to be winning in the next couple of turns anyway. Okay guys, we've made it up to Legend Arena, and so let's go ahead and see what we can do against this team here. Lone Crest and Bellona on the other side. I really want to test out the Little Queen Charlotte against her, because Bellonas are built much more tankier than Arbiter Vildreds and such. I'm sure we can still one-shot her anyway, but let's go ahead and give this a try, right? RNL is going to outspeed my opponent here, because I did bring a speed imprint in the form of Tactical Archetype Coley. I don't trust these Legend defense teams here. And we have Hakadi as well to prevent this immortality from occurring here, from both the Lady of the Scales and from the Shepherd of the Dark DN. So let's go for the skill 2. We should be able to finish off the DN rather easily. Nice, good defense break there. We had a second chance to apply one if we didn't with the Coley. And there we go. Do I want to go for a skill 3? Ooh, Tactical Archetype Coley. Gonna get cut by the opponent's Lady of the Scales. Let's go for the skill 3 then, see if we can actually kind of lock down the opponent a little bit. It's fine, because Bellona skill 2 will actually push up my Little Queen Charlotte here. Boom, look at that. Look at that combat readiness gain. And there you go. The Lady of the Scales did have fear. She didn't snap out of it. And so we get a turn with our Little Queen Charlotte. This should be enough, I think, to finish off the RNL as well. So you can utilize your opponent's Low Crest and Bellona to just push yourself up and then just punish the entire team like this. Kinda crazy, but that was smooth. Let's try one last match with Little Queen Charlotte, but this time I'm gonna give her a bit of a challenge. We're gonna be going up against this team that has Setsuka for evasion, but that's not the main thing. We're gonna be trying to use this Little Queen Charlotte into an Empyrean Ilanov on the other side. Now, I know for this team you can just go Zeo and like Shepherd of the Dark DN and seal everybody. In fact, I don't think you even need Little Queen Charlotte to cleave this type of defense team, but perfect time for us to test against the Empyrean Ilanov because she is rather rare to find on defense teams and such, but she is probably going to see a bit more play in RTA, seeing that Elvira is also a thing too, and I've seen her getting picked up quite a bit as well, just in the last few days. So let's go ahead and use Zeo here. We're going to try to stop the Saria from going. The main thing here is that Saria is going to be a bit of a problem. She's going to nuke everybody on my team, and I can't really have that. So let's go for that. The Pirate Captain Flan's going to push up the team, and she's going to be able to take a turn. So I think the best course of action, because my opponent is so slow, is to just go for the RNL here. Get the bomb, very cool. We get counter, but that's okay. RNL loses that first turn, and that's fantastic. I think what I'll do now is go for... well, Zeno doesn't really have anybody really to go for. Actually, we could go for the Setsuka. She doesn't have the evasion, right? Just go for the Setsuka hit right there. It's not going to strip her buffs or anything. Alright, so here's the real test. Little Queen Charlotte with the attack buff here. Let's go ahead and soul burn into the Setsuka, right? Actually, I don't really need to because the Zeno... Yeah, I actually don't need to soul burn here. Zeno decreases her evasion by 50%. I think we're good. But the main issue is this Empyrean Ilanov. She's going to be mitigating a lot of this damage because the 50% defense penetration, right? I'm not going to hit a dark unit. I know I'd be able to finish off the Setsuka there. Or not the Setsuka, the RNL there. But whoa! Guys. That's not bad at all. 25k damage on a Setsuka? Not even a dark unit because you do additional damage to dark units there. Through an Empyrean Ilanov. I think that is pretty good. So, yeah, I would say even if your opponent is picking at least Empyrean Ilanov, I know DN and stuff have like more defense penetration resistance that they apply, but in terms of fighting an Empyrean Ilanov, it used to be that Little Queen Charlotte couldn't really kill through that damage mitigation, but nowadays it looks like you're in the clear. So that is really cool to see. Let's see if Little Queen Charlotte can deal some good damage. Oh yeah, 13.5k damage there as well. Guys, Little Queen Charlotte is absolutely going to be eating good in the coming meta, especially with the warfare rules in RTA kind of reducing evasion, right, for the special one. So now that you guys have seen Little Queen Charlotte in action, let me know what you guys think of her in the comments section down below. I'm actually really enjoying her on the Pursuit set. If you can manage the stats, I would highly recommend giving it a try. The splash damage that you do can finish off so many units. In fact, what you can even do is stack even more attack than this. Maybe forego some crit damage, maybe run an attack necklace here, and really lean into that fixed damage because, again, it is pretty solid, and the only couple units in the game that really mitigate that sort of damage is Maid Chloe and Fallen Cecilia, both of whom aren't really popular right now due to the aggressive nature of the meta, right? Little Queen Charlotte here, fantastic against evasion units, that consistency with the 10 soul burn on that skill 3 to give her 100% hit chance, and the fact that you no longer have to build crit rate on her, you can guarantee crits against anybody that you successfully attack, is just too good to pass up. If you have her laying around, highly recommend you guys dust her off. You don't need her to be incredibly fast. You can build her a little bit tankier. You can build her with more attack. She's pretty flexible, I would say, and yeah, I'm very, very happy with how she turned out. So again, let me know what you guys think of her in the comments down below, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.